We're gonna start with our kind of more specific pin escapes. So we're gonna start with the mount. We talked about before, there's different types of pin escapes. You can either go back to the guard, you can do reversals, or you can kind of escape to stand up. By far, the lowest probability is the reversal ones. But the reason we're starting with the reversal ones first, like from the mount, the bridging escape, is initially you'll learn it and use it as an escape, but later on you'll use it as a way to access different escapes. And we'll go over that later as well. So just keep that in mind. I'll borrow Corey for this. So Corey has the mount. So again, whatever posture. So this is the bridging escape. Right? We'll do it again from a different angle. Right, so no secret here. You guys have probably learned this before. We're trapping one side and we're using a bridge. Again, the bridging motion is, I'm not bridging him straight up. I'm bridging to turn from facing up to facing down. But there's a few small key elements that are useful. So again, Corey's on the top of the mount. The nice thing about the gi is, sit your weight down on the hips. So a lot of us will grab at the sleeve. But in order to pull his arm across the center line, if I grab at the sleeve, and I have relatively short arms, I actually expose my elbow here. The gi affords us the opportunity to create these little ridges and grab here, where if I'm grabbing here and I pull, my elbow's still really, really tight and I'm not exposed, right? The next thing we want to do is find like the seam on the back. Be careful not to pinch your partners with this kind of stuff. But the seam is right here. And once I lock this down with my elbow on top of his knee, it's pretty difficult for him to move and come back. The next thing I want to do is using my outside leg. You're going to block his outside leg. So this leg is blocking this leg. This elbow is controlling the knee here. And then again, we have asymmetrical legs. One is longer than the other. Your initial drive is going to be with this leg, and then it's going to turn to this one. The next thing you want to do is, I'm not bridging up because this doesn't really do anything. I'm bridging to turn down. So I'm driving this way. And a key point is I'm looking straight up. If I look like this, I'll resist. But if I look up, eventually I'll take them over, right? What people are gonna do for this, Corey on the bottom. The way that people defend this, there's kind of like two ways that they're gonna go about it. Both can be addressed pretty simply. So if he has this position, there's two things that people will do once you're blocking. The first is they will post on that side, which is actually good for you because it's pretty easy to deal with because you don't do anything different. So even if I have a 90% post, as long as if he starts looking up, like it'll just go. Yeah, I can't overcome this. Keep going.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty straightforward. It might not be that they post right away. Usually what will happen is, one more time, he goes, like, so I can push back all I want, but as long as he keeps looking forward and up, eventually, I'm probably stronger than Corey. It's just an inferior position, right? So the other thing that people will do, which is a little bit more savvy, is if they're here, and it's no secret, he's gonna go this side, guys will come down low. I do this sometimes to people, and I'll kind of go on this side, right? Which all my weight goes to this side. So I'll just show you guys how we deal with that. It's one extra step to do, but it actually comes out to be a stronger position. So Corey's on top. And again, this is a very telegraphing kind of thing because I'm like, well, obviously I'm trapping this side here. I can bridge and I'm not gonna go. But what he does is when he's over there, all I'm gonna do is reach for the back of the collar. And the goal here is to get his head on the other side of my head. And you can do that if you're strong, like some of us. You can just row it, but if you're not, so don't let me get your head onto the other side, right? Okay. You can actually move yourself. And once my head is here, on the other side, it's a stronger roll. And again, whenever we finish these things, find yourself back to the inside space of the biceps to keep yourself safe. So again, Corey on the bottom, please. Anytime you do this, you're gonna get a reaction as soon as you do this. You know, they might stop and try to rip this out. But if they just post like this is easy. You continue to do the same motion. Go ahead. Yeah. So you just bridge. I can't stop this. Right? It's just an inferior post. And then the other side. So again, I'm a little bit stronger than Corey, right? He's trapped my leg. He wants to go that side. Even if I'm here, like I can stop. But if he grabs behind the collar, and I'll do my best not to let him pull my head over. Go ahead. Yep. I can't, like, I don't know what the anatomical like inferiority is here, but you can't do it. Try it for yourself. I'd be hard pressed even if I borrow Owen for this. Maybe Owen can do it. Maybe he'll defeat this entire concept, but on camera. But the thing is, like, most guys, well, again, grabbing here and here is, oh, his biceps are so large that I can't even, no pinch, right? So even if I'm here like this, he's gonna go this side, right? But if you reach behind here, so don't let me pull your head past my, it's not possible. I don't know what it is, and then from here, you just execute the same bridge. And he's very obviously stronger than I am, right? So two kind of common ways they do this. Again, it's low percentage, but it'll work on inferior skilled people. And at the high level, you'll use this to initiate other things. Does that make sense? So I'll borrow Alan for a good example of this, our freshly minted black belt. So if I do something like this on Alan, and I'm looking to bridge, more often than not, when I start bridging, he's gonna try and get his right leg out. So that's kind of like the reaction we're looking for. So I'm using this, it's a realistic and a legitimate escape, but I'm using it to get this knee so I can start doing like elbow escapes. Does that make sense? So at the high level, this technique becomes a movement. Whereas at low level, it's a full-on escape technique, right? So as you become better, and like, yeah, Alan, you feel it, right? Like you're not gonna give that up.
Right.
But if you don't address it and you're some nub, then it works. But most high-level guys, you're using it at the high level to create a reaction. Cool. Does that make sense?